if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I fall asleep when I'm
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 25 of the Loose Lugs podcast. I am your host, AJ. With me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
What's up, AJ? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. AJ, I know you had a little bit of fun Saturday. Why don't you tell the folks that are listening, watching our beautiful faces on this podcast, what you did?
Man, we went to game one of the semifinal, Eastern Conference semifinals at good old Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. The Bruins, my Bruins, as you can see, come out on top, 6-2. What? Wow. Okay. All right. My Alexa just decided that she was going to talk randomly during the show.
Hey, special guest on the blog podcast, Alexa.
I think that my house is haunted at this point.
It may be.
So, we went out to the game, Adam and I. Some of you know who Adam is. He edited the show for a long time, got us all set up in this little new setup we have here now. And I will tell you, I've been to NASCAR races, I've been to baseball games, football games, hockey games. I've never experienced anything louder than a playoff hockey game. It was intense. And like I said, Bruins come out 6-2 on top. And before the game, they do like this little pregame intro, and it's all on the ice. And I've got a video of it, and I want to post it. I'll probably post it on our YouTube page later on, just so people can get an understanding of what I'm talking about. I've never seen anything like it. It was an awesome experience. And I wanted to go to Game 5 if the Bruins were up 3-1, and last night they lost to be down in the series 2-1, so I'm not going to Game 5.
Maybe you should go to Game 5 because the only game they've won is what you were at. So
stop giving me bad decisions.
I'm just helping you out there.
Bad intentions there.
But when is Game 5 is the question.
Sunday, 3 o'clock.
Ooh, Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Please don't talk me into it.
Oh, I'm not talking you into it. You're going to Daytona. You're going to Five Finger and Breaking Benjamin. So.
Yeah, dude, that Live Nation deal, $20 this week. You get like 2,000 events or $20 tickets.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that too. Hopefully, when's that end? Tomorrow, Friday?
It ends on the 8th.
The 8th. Today's the 4th then? Next week, that Live Nation, $20 tickets. AJ and his girlfriend are going to Breaking Benjamin and Five Finger for $20. Sarah's mouth just dropped like, yeah, good. Smart Tony.
Tony tells me to do it. No, I will not do it. I will not go to Game 5. I only wanted to be there if they were up. I feel like I feel like if they were to lose Game 5 and like down in the series 3-1, it'd just be too bitter for me, I guess would be the best word to put it.
All right, here's another question for you. What about Game 7? If they come back to take it to Game 7, would you go?
Ooh, I think it's on a Thursday. If necessary, Game 7 is on a Thursday, so...
Your boss seems like a cool guy. Always playing Fortnite and everything. He seems like a cool cat. You don't understand why AJ's not here on Friday.
So Tony says he's jelly because I got to see my team go in the second round. Well, we only got there by beating your team in 7, Tony, so, it was in doubt for a little bit.
Hey, I've seen my favorite race car driver, both of them win in person. So, hey, never been to a Red Wing playoff game, but been to OHL with Ontario Hockey League playoff game, a couple Viper playoff games. But, yeah, like you said, man, playoff hockey, definitely where it's at. I think seeing my favorite driver win a race was pretty sweet, too. So,
speaking of getting into racing, what our podcast is all about, I got a phone call yesterday from DIS, Daytona International Speedway.
Really?
And I now have my own personal ticket consultant, event consultant.
Really?
So this guy calls me and introduces himself as, I mean, I've already dealt with this guy before and getting tickets in the past, but his, like, I don't know if they're doing it for everybody, and that's just what they're saying, but he introduced himself as my new ticket manager / consultant, I guess would be the name for it.
Oh, no kidding.
I really just think he's trying to talk me into going to more races and spending more money with International Speedway Corp, but...
Oh, yeah. International Speedway Corp is something
working.
else.
It's making me feel professional. So we had plate racing again this weekend, Ryan.
You can call it plate racing. I call it follow the leader.
We had some interview that happened, I think, yesterday that we're going to very much so get into.
Basically what AJ's saying is AJ is going to blast somebody in particular that we all know. Some of us may have loved this person. Others may have not.
No, Tony, I did not tell the guy I'm kind of a big deal on the phone. I should have, though. Thanks for reminding me now. So...
Tony, Plymouth Whalers, baby. That's right.
And my girlfriend just texted me, who was also watching, saying, tell them I said to quit encouraging you, because they know how quick that'll happen.
Hey, wait. She encouraged you to go to Daytona, so...
It was her decision. I throw that on her.
Oh, I see. Oh, no.
But...
AJ's going to get a phone call here in a minute.
AJ's got a 2-page rant later on, talking to the third person on a certain interview that happened yesterday. I'm sure everybody listening already knows which one I'm referring to, but I brought out the racing reference on this one, just to do a little stat digging.
Oh, boy.
So, with that being said, Ryan, I heard you went out somewhere today.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Where we follow Roush Racing, Fenway Racing, they have a museum. Roush owns a bunch of shops in Livonia, Michigan, and they have a museum, everything like that, and they have open houses. Normally they're just June and August for when the Cup Series is here. They have a lot of drivers out there, but today they had an open house. And I've been going to these things for as long as I can remember. Excuse me. They finally had the trophy room open, and they had all these helmets signed by the drivers, all these trophies. I posted a couple of pictures so far on the podcast page. Very, very cool stuff right there to see these trophies in person. I know my Facebook picture at one time was in Victory Lane at MIS with Sarah and I as the Pure Michigan 400 trophy. But it was pretty cool to see that. And then walked around the museum again, looking at the cars, entered some contests. They had sales. I got a Ryan Reed diabetes T-shirt for $5. Old Stenhouse Best Buy shirt, which was pretty cool, for another $5. So pretty cool stuff. It was free to get in, though. Plus, waiting for June. We haven't heard anything yet on who's going to be out there, AJ. But I was talking to one of the gentlemen out there by the cars. He's thinking that Kenseth is going to be out there with Ryan Reed in June, and in August it will be Bain and Stenhouse. From the sounds of it, because you said you want me. Yeah, in August. Yeah, you wanted Stenhouse to sign or Jack. I forgot one of the two, right?
Stenhouse, yeah.
Yeah, you want Stenhouse to sign it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
so yeah, I can always.
I've got that Stenhouse first win at Talladega, and I got a couple paint pens.
Oh, nice.
So I'm still trying to decide which color I'd like to see it signed in on the windshield.
Well, the fifth, I do silver. If you got a silver.
Well, I've gone through, because I'm trying to kind of match the paint scheme a little bit.
Yeah.
With it,
and that blue.
The paint pens pop on autographs. So what I'm trying, I like the orange one though the best, and there's no orange on the car, but I think the orange one looks the best. So I'm still on the fence about it.
Tony in the live chat. Eats popcorn, story time with Ryan. Right. But yeah, I think it was Saturday. Sarah and I go out to Friday night. We go out to Target. The Larson win at Michigan last year, which I was there, but I remember him winning, but that's about it. But got that car. I think the Ryan Reed car as well, and there was a couple other cars. And then Saturday, later on, we go to Walmart. I finally see William Byron car, so I picked that up, the little 64th scale, the smaller versions. And then hopefully get them signed sometime down the road.
You were saying to me the trophy room's never open to the public.
The trophy room has never been open to the public. I think this is the first time they've done it. I think the only reason why they opened it is to try to get more people out there because, A, there's no drivers out there. Jack wasn't out there. Any old drivers of his coming back for, little publicity or anything like that. So, they finally had it open. It was definitely worth going. I mean, we were there for, 25 minutes? Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, give or take. But it was cool just to see the trophy room open like that. And I got one. It was the Jamie McMurray Pepsi 400 one. I don't know if you were at that.
I wasn't at that one. The one I went to, Stewart won on a race that started at 11 o'clock, and I left the track.
You left the track when that happened? Oh, man.
Yeah, I think it was 2005.
Yeah, so
2005, and
I was in the hospital. I had an abscess in my throat. Fell asleep. I woke up. One of the nurses is checking my vitals and everything like that. I'm like, "What time is it?" She's like, "It's 1:45," and I see 5 laps to go. Hey, I'm up in time. And she watched a couple laps, and she's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." She's like, "I gotta go," and I'm like, "Yeah." Checking my vitals, making sure I'm alive and breathing, which is good.
Hey,
got stopped for NASCAR.
Maybe you're breathing, right?
Hey, exactly. I'm always breathing.
But I think we should get into Gas and Go this week because we got a lot to talk about in this show this week.
Yeah, yes, we do.
All right, let's get into some Gas and Go. Let's talk about the Talladega weekend. That's a mouthful.
Ooh.
All right, so we had the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series in action this weekend at Talladega. We'll start off with the Xfinity Series and your winner, who probably had his happiest moment and his saddest moment of his racing career this week. Spencer Gallagher wins his first win in the Xfinity Series. He only led one lap. His first lap he's led all season.
The most important lap.
And it all came because Austin Cindric ran out of gas on the base laps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how that came to fruition, basically.
I tell you what, though, he made a hell of a move, though, to get to the front, to the lead. I enjoyed it for most of the races I saw, the little bit that I did catch. But like I said, got home, saw it. The drivers only, I am a big fan of. I went back, skimmed through it again. Just at the end, I don't know if you caught it. We'll probably dive into it a little bit later. They're going through Keselowski's with Shannon Spake, everybody like that. And then they're like, hey, we want to thank everybody who helped everybody out. And then all of a sudden you hear Bubba go, well, what about us? I'm dying laughing. Sarah's dying laughing because Bubba out of the blue is just like, well, what about us? I think I have it recorded. I still have it recorded on the TV. I'll probably record it with my phone and then send it to you. But it just Bubba being Bubba. It was funny as hell.
There was a little pit road interview they were doing, and I think it was with Ryan Blaney, where they flashed the camera up to Blaney, and he's staring at the Jumbotron on the infield, and he's giving his pit road report, and Harvick says at the end of it, hey, Ryan, next time look at the camera. And he kind of does one of these oh.
Well, you gotta think them guys are so out of their element. I think Harvick's going to become a broadcaster when he's done, when it's all said and done. But I enjoy it. I kind of hope NBC does something similar to it, even though I don't think they're going to. I still think it's one of the more entertaining races to watch just because the knowledge that these guys have. Boyer's blasting the booth. Logano's been pretty good. Harvick was good. All of them guys were good.
Yeah, I thought the drivers-only broadcast was awesome this week. Go ahead.
The eating the ice cream, and then they're getting pizza up in the booth and all that. And then I think it was Jones or somebody. It's like, yeah, where's our food at down on pit road? But I guess Bubba and Blaney had a barbecue like that, crab cook-off and all that, or shrimp or something like that.
Oh, they got hooked up.
Oh, of course they did.
So, my DVR.
Good point, Patrick.
So after the game, I come home, and I told you on the way home, don't tell me who won the race. I haven't seen nothing yet. I have it all recorded. I'm going to watch when I get home. So I had no clue everything that had happened so far. I get home, flip it on, start watching it, skimming through commercials, and I notice I'm getting towards the end, and there's like 30 laps to go. And I'm just sitting there thinking, this must be a really quick final 30 laps. So I'm going along. Daniel Hemrick blows a tire with 9 laps to go. And as soon as the caution flag flies, end of the recording. So I watched every lap up until 9 to go because my DVR cut out. So I had to watch the last lap on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So I could see who won.
Patrick just put something really good into the live chat. Life can humble you. Up on top one day, rock bottom next. Spencer will learn, and he's even come out and said he's going to come back stronger, better than ever. He's going to learn from his mistakes. I know Junior posted something about that as well, or he tweeted, I should say.
So if you've been living under a rock the last couple days, Spencer Gallagher failed a drug test, NASCAR wellness test, whatever it's called over there, and is now indefinitely suspended. He's joined the wellness program, which I forget the name of. I should have wrote it down because I was just reading it today. Like what is it called?
It's something weird. I know that. I mean,
I don't think it's motor racing outreach. That's something else. But I think
that's where he's going to get the treatment at. Is the motor racing outreach. I think that's where the treatment is, where he's going to, if I'm not mistaken.
But he did say that he's going to get himself taken care of, and in the position he's in, he needs to be a better role model and a better example. So I wish Spencer nothing but the best.
I do too.
We both do. But like Patrick said, he's got to learn from this.
Yeah, I mean, next thing you know, like he said, the thrill of what was the agony of defeat, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, basically right there.
Every time.
I really do. I don't know,
you talk about how great of a quote it was, and you forget it every time.
I do. Yeah, but like I said, the whatever I just said, but still. He'll learn from it. He's a young kid. Hey, we all make mistakes, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, every day we all make a mistake. We're human. That's what we are. That's what happens. This one, unfortunately, is a big one.
Because he's in the spotlight. Yes, it is.
But hopefully he's like a Jeremy Mayfield and can actually come back from this.
Yeah, man, that guy, something else, that kid Mayfield.
That was probably the worst one we've had in a while.
Have they said who's going to be in the car at all, replacing him? I haven't heard anything about that.
I had it in news, but I guess I could say it now. Ryan Sieg will be taking over that ride.
Oh, Sieg?
And he is eligible for the Dash for Cash.
Oh, nice.
So, speaking of Dash for Cash, Elliott Sadler goes back-to-back on the Dash for Cash. Boy, his wife and kids must be loving him right now.
No kidding. Yeah, you don't win the race, but hey, you win $1 million or something like that.
I'll take a fifth place finish and walk out with a huge chunk of change.
I will too. And they, I think it was on Twitter or something like that. They had him sleeping next to both the checks and all that. It was pretty funny to see, actually. I got a quick giggle out of that.
I was listening to Lap Traffic, their show from this week today, and they were saying about how Elliott Sadler's like that, just that veteran. He doesn't need to win. He hasn't won a race in over a year, but he always finds himself in the championship hunt at the end. Almost like what Matt Kenseth was in 2003.
Exactly.
He won one race, but still won the title.
Yep. It's the finish is what it is.
That's all it's about. All these playoffs are is consistency. You don't need to win the title. You just have to finish in front of the other four in the final race.
Yeah, win stages like it would happen. I mean
Truex had the damn championship won, and he wasn't even at Homestead yet.
No, all he had to do was finish higher than them guys, and that's what he did at Homestead.
He didn't need to win a single race in that chase to get to Homestead.
No, not at all. Because all the points he progressed throughout the year, winning stages. I think he won like 20-some stages. I thought they said, or more than that.
Some crazy number.
Yes, it was.
Out of all the stats I looked over for this week, that wasn't one of them.
No.
So we had a big wreck early on in this race, Ryan. Took out 5 cars, and what a hard impact it was for Spencer Boyd.
Oh, man.
It was like 3 seconds after the wreck had already kind of slowed down a little bit. He came in full throttle into that thing. I don't know if he didn't have brakes like Joey Logano said or what, because that car came in like a bat out of hell.
Kind of reminded me of Days of Thunder right there when they're telling him that the crash is happening. Yeah, go high, and he's gunning it, and then oops.
Yeah, I don't know if he got into some oil or something, so he couldn't stop as quickly as he wanted to, but oh my God.
Hey, even in these super speedway, it happens just like that, a snap of the finger.
Oh, no doubt.
So yeah, I mean, was a good race all in all. So on Saturday,
I thought it was a good race, but it was just single file. Like the whole weekend was single file all weekend long.
You know what I think? You know what I think caused that? Friday practice with what happened to Jamie Mack, and I think we'll probably dive into that when we get to the Cup cars. I think that, what was it? When Kyle Larson went into the catch fence at Daytona, where his engine was inside of the grandstand there. It's like you see those as drivers on. You're like, I don't know if I want to go all out. You know, even though we're racing for a championship, I think a lot of them guys saw that Friday and they're like, "Oh, why is this what Sunday's going to entitle?"
Well, we saw Sunday how they raced it. We're going to dig into that here in a little bit. So, a pit penalty cost Ryan Truex and got him involved in that big wreck. And it's ironic that they were just talking about Bubba Wallace was just talking about what got Truex back there to begin with. And no sooner, they're on his in-car camera, the entire, his whole, from his position on, all wrecked. And it was just get done saying how much pit penalties cost you here, because it puts you back where you really don't want to be, especially when the big one happens. And ironically enough, no sooner it's said, half a lap.
Every Daytona 500, it always seemed to happen for Mark Martin. The times Junior didn't ever won a 500. Something would happen on pit road, not that they're doing. They'd be in the big one. Or they'd be up front and they go shuffle back. Every time you see them shuffle back, this is when the big one's going to happen. When the big one's, and then it did. I'm like, it wasn't meant to be your day then.
No. And it seems like every time it's just, we get a big one, a big wreck every time we're at these tracks, no matter if it was tandem racing or if it's pack racing.
Which I could not stand tandem racing. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. I didn't like tandem racing just because it felt like at that point, in a sense, more of follow the leader type stuff, but now this is follow the leader type stuff.
I know there's some people out there saying take the restrictor plates off these cars and let them go.
All right, I'll show you Jamie McMurray's crash.
Yeah, I'll show you Donnie Allison in '88.
Yeah.
The reason why we got the restrictor plate on these cars.
You know, I want to get into that McMurray stuff here, so just continuing down the line. Hemrick dominated this race early. Like I said, he blew a tire at the end of the race, and it cost him dearly in the finishing order. We had the stage winners of Daniel Hemrick, stage 1, Elliott Sadler, stage 2, and your eventual race winner, Spencer Gallagher, stage 3. Top 5, Spencer Gallagher, Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, Noah Gregson, and Elliott Sadler. A couple notable finishers we have this week. Sixth place, Ryan Siege. 7th place, John Hunter Nemechek. 10th place, Garrett Smithley. And 13th, Jeff Green. Good to see Jeff Green back up in the running.
Yeah, it was. That's what I like love these restrictor plate tracks because these underfunded teams got a chance to compete with these guys. It just shows like what these guys can do if they were in the equipment, though. But yeah, like I said, nice to, like you said, good to see Jeff Green back up there. Good old boy.
It was a solid race all around too, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
So, moving on here, we've got the standings. Elliott Sadler, Tyler Reddick, and Justin Allgaier in the top 3 positions, all JRM cars. Is this any shock to anybody?
No, not at all.
I don't think that JRM program that they have there for the Xfinity Series is, it's second to none.
That it is.
Continuing on with our standings, Christopher Bell, Colt Custer, Daniel Hemrick, Spencer Gallagher, Brandon Jones, Ryan Truex, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, and Ross Chastain. Your next race is Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern from Dover on FS1.
Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon's in the booth, by the way.
Oh, is he? That's going to be weird.
Yes, it will.
I don't think I've ever heard him on a broadcast before.
I think he's going to gloat about his Daytona win. Oh, I won Daytona.
It's going to be like Patrick Reed and still wear the green jacket.
It could be. Hey, nothing wrong with wearing a green jacket. If I won the Masters, I'd be wearing a green jacket.
But I'm telling you, he hasn't taken that thing off since he won it.
It's only been, 3-4 weeks?
It's been longer than that. I mean, it's been it's been over a month now, I think.
I thought
because I think the Masters, maybe it was a little bit less than a month.
Yeah.
I think the Masters was like the 13th through the 16th or 17th.
It was you know how we had the national championship of basketball that Monday. That following Thursday was the Masters.
Oh, so it was the first week of April.
Yeah, the tradition like any other.
So this weekend we have the Truck Series back in action. Finally, after over a month off. 5 weeks, I think it is, they've been off. They're racing
way too long.
They're racing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern on FS1 at Dover. That's going to be fun to see the trucks at Dover. This is kind of different because usually on this weekend, I believe they're in Kansas typically.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see all 3 series back at the same track to kick things off again for the rest of the season for the trucks.
Especially with the trucks going at 5, like you said, 5 o'clock, I think is what it is. 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. It's only a 200-lap race, so it's a quick race. I mean, I know I'll be tomorrow.
And Dover's a fun track. Well,
Dover, you know what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, you know what Dover is? Bristol on steroids.
It's definitely Bristol on steroids. You hit the nail on the head right there.
Thank you.
So I'm supposed to play softball tomorrow night, which I'm going to.
Oh, boy.
But you best believe that on my phone I'll have the NBC Sports app going so I can watch the teams 4.
Oh, for the hockey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Oh, I bet.
All right, moving on. We got the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Talladega. And before the weekend really even began, we had a practice crash like none other. Like nothing I've seen since... Was it Michael McDowell in 2008 during qualifying?
Oh, at Texas? That was one of the worst wrecks I think I've ever seen, whether it be during a race, qualifying practice when McDowell, you heard him on the radio, yeah, I'm tired. All of a sudden he goes into turn 1, loses it, head first into the wall, barrels down the backstretch, lands halfway down the backstretch at Texas. That was insane.
Oh, it was an intense wreck for sure.
That was, and so was McMurray's too, because we're at work. And we got the new cable, and we haven't switched over yet, the email or anything like that. So I'm like, people are like putting on one of my NASCAR pages that McMurray wrecked, and I finally saw the video of it, and I showed Sarah, and she was like, "Did that just happen?" I'm like, "Yeah, it happened in practice. Cut a tire."
Yeah, so he cuts the left rear, I believe it was, and going 203 miles an hour is what the Fox tracks had it at. That thing got sideways. It started to get a little airborne, but then it really got airborne when I forget who it was hit him.
I think it was Newman. I think it was
Newman that hit him in the door.
He can't catch a break. First of all,
always got cars on top of him at restricted tracks.
Truex Jr. was on top of him a couple of years ago. Carl Edwards, when he went into the catch fence, the wheel hit the windshield. I was he can't seem to keep cars off him.
No, it's... I wish we had like a countdown. Top 5 Newman wrecks at Blade Track.
Oh, yeah, the car's on top of him.
Yeah, he just can't catch a break when it comes...
No, he cannot.
Basically, McMurray's flipping, barrel rolling down the backstretch, and then he gets up into the retaining fence over there. Retaining wall and catch fence.
They just put that this year, because remember what, it was Kenseth? I think it was last year, the spring race, where it looked like the camera angle, where it looked like he was getting ready to go over that. So they added, I do believe that's brand new this year.
I thought the Kenseth incident was 2 years ago. I think that's when they added it.
It may have been last year or this year, I'm not sure.
I don't think anybody flipped last year. Oh, no. Chase flipped last year.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it was 2 years ago then.
On the back stretch, right on the wall.
Yeah.
Right there. So either way, the result of this, thank God Jamie Mack was okay. I mean, not that there was really any doubt with the way the cars are now that he would be in trouble, but it's good to see him get out of the car, immediately get the backup ready and going. So NASCAR decided that they were going to shrink down the whole size of the restrictor plates after that. And I wish they didn't, in the sense of I thought it was making the racing better the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there would have been as much follow the leader that we had.
And I think that scared everybody because of this new restrictor plate.
And I told you this on Sunday. The problem isn't the restrictor plate. The problem really wasn't the tire going down. The problem is this no ride height rule that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because these cars are so low to the ground that as soon as a tire blows on these things and they get sideways, they want to go airborne.
Of course they do. Even with
the entire safety feature of the Gen 6, I guess, well, Gen 7 car.
Gen 7.5.
Yeah. 7 3/4.
Oh, you just took it right out of my mouth. Damn.
But yeah, I think that rule change has kind of hurt restrictor plate tracks.
And I remember there were days where these roof flaps prevented cars from going over. Now the roof flaps ain't doing. Yeah, it's except for yep. But these roof flaps aren't doing their jobs, like you said, with how low these cars are to the ground. As soon as they get sideways, they want to get up in the air. And no matter what roof flaps are going to do, they ain't going to do anything.
I don't care who you are. Try going 203 miles an hour and have your rear tire blow.
Not fun.
You're going over.
That'll be a bad start to your weekend.
Yeah, you're going to.
Although he did run pretty good on Sunday.
Yeah, up until he got taken out in the big one. So, moving on. Joey Logano, your winner. And if you see the title of this show, Cucumber no more, because this race was legit.
Yes, it was. Both his teammates were out in that last wreck. Granted, yeah, the Fords were working together, so... But hey, great win for Joey. Glad to see him back in victory lane. And they posted a picture, I think it was on his Twitter page and Penske, that it was him and his wife and their son in victory lane. And he put a tweet out there. He's like, I've never been so emotional in victory lane after seeing my son in victory lane. And I thought that was cool right there.
Is that his first time his son's been to victory lane?
Yes, it was, because he was born prior to Daytona, I thought.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, because she was pregnant when he won at Richmond, and then they took it away.
Dun, dun, dun.
But they ain't taking this one away, that's for sure.
No, they're not taking this one away.
That car was good.
This car was
all the Penske cars.
All the Fords. The Fords were really dominant this weekend. So, it was a tame race. A lot of fun here, like we've been saying. Like you said, I might have think Friday played a lot into it and how safe these guys were running. There was no aggressive moves.
No, not at all.
Up until the last lap in the tri-oval.
Yeah, 100 yards away from, or maybe 300-400 yards away from the finish line. Yep, let's try to make our move now. And
I don't want to get in your rant now, but I'll go out and say that Chase Elliott wasn't kidding when he said it's like no one wanted to win.
Where's everybody at? I thought you were in it to win it. Not I'm gonna be happy with second. I'm gonna be happy with third. Oh, I'm gonna be happy with 15th. Woo!
Yeah, we're gonna get into that with your rant a little bit later on, but
yes, we will.
I couldn't have put the words any better myself.
And there was something, too, that really got me about this race.
What's that?
Is they were saying that a fuel window was, I think, 40... The way they got the stages played out here, where, like, if the fuel window opened, everybody was... Half the field would come in, then half the field stayed out, and then that half of the field came to pit road and all that. There's something about it I didn't like. Like, it split everybody up. It was like you said, follow the leader. I just didn't like it.
And I honestly think it played a huge part because of what happened with McMurray on Friday and what we saw happen later on in the Xfinity race. Man, it just seems like they were scared shitless out there.
Yes, they were.
And drivers wait too long at plate tracks to make moves. And no kidding. I mean, that's the problem we have now.
Patrick, keep listening. My rant is all about that. Actually, screw it. I'm going to do it now.
Here we go.
Why? All right, thank you. All right, anyways. Why wait to the last lap, half a lap, to try to make the pass for the win? I say 10 to go, you go for it. Obviously, yeah, you know you want to make that perfect move. I know it's the last lap. You can do these last lap passes. The ARCA race, if anybody watched that, it was a one-lap shootout. Great side-by-side. It was the closest race in ARCA, or finish in ARCA history. Great race. But why? If I'm the second place guy, I gotta wait for the guy third or fourth or 18th to make a move before I want to make my move. No. Like Larry Mack said, reach up, pull them belts back one more time. Let's go. Go.
Saying that.
I do too. That was my favorite.
Like
Larry Mack.
Boogity.
Yeah, and then that's when DW would do boogity, or however he does it. But why wait to the last lap? I don't understand it, especially at these restrictor plate tracks. I understand if it was a Michigan, a Bristol, a Martinsville, a Kentucky, anywhere like that, maybe even Watkins Glen or the other road course. I can't have a brain for now. Infineon, I think that's what it's called. Sears Point, how's that? I'll go back to the yeah, Sonoma. Thank you. I call it.
It's Sears Point.
Yes, but like I said, I don't understand it. Why these guys wait so long to make the pass to go for the win? You're out there to win. A, for yourself. B, your fans. C, your sponsors, your family, your crew members. Like Chase Elliott said, and I didn't think anybody else wanted to win.
No, it seemed like all the Ford guys were content with finishing second, third, fourth, fifth.
And I understand that you want to help your car makes out. I understand that. I get that.
Screw that.
But when the race is on the line, you go for it. I can see it, like then when they were doing the pit stops. If you want to come in, Fords come in, have all the Fords come in together. They didn't. It drove me crazy.
That whole separation, I actually had it here in the notes for the race. That whole separation that they did with the manufacturer pit stops completely separated the end of stage one. I think they had 10 cars at the line.
Yep. Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was cool to see Byron and Bubba up there leading at Talladega, and Bowman was up there. Byron, all them guys were up there. But because of the whole pit strategy, I just wish they would make a rule like, if you don't have any damage, like at Daytona and Talladega, I mean, granted, yeah, I know it's strategy, everything like that. Something about pit stops. Only after after lap 25. You can't pit till after lap 25. I think it has to do with the stages and how they worked out.
You didn't see back in the day, like, because they were the same manufacturer, guys like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, and they were on the same team letting each other win.
Yeah, no, they went after each other.
No, exactly.
And now it's like...
There's not even race teams anymore, it's manufacturers. Toyota stick with Toyotas, Ford stick with Fords, and then Chevys, unfortunately, stick with Chevys. It's like they don't want to, but they will. They have to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It seems and it's not me being a Chevy homer saying this, but it seems like Chevy is the only guys out there that want to be competitive with each other.
I'm not being a homer either.
And everybody else, they're just there so that their manufacturer, their emblem gets in victory lane. It's so stupid. And it hadn't started until about 8 years ago.
About that.
When Toyota came in and after the Toyota stay together. We all knew that was coming.
Of course.
But once, like, when Penske switched to Ford is when this started. Because then they started sharing data with the Wood brothers and,
Roush and...
Totally killed everything. That needs to stop.
And now Stuart House is now with... I didn't know that about Roush and Yates engines. For Stuart House, I didn't know that. Until I think it was Boyer that said it during his interview after he got taken out in the big one.
Yeah,
It just, like I said...
What are you going to let another guy win a championship because he's the same manufacturer as you and you don't want to pay him for it? You don't want that guy?
My interview, I'm glad I finished second in the championship, but I'm glad Ford won the championship. I get it. I get it during the interview. Like, if your teammate wins, cool to see my teammate in victory lane. We had a good run and blah, blah, blah. No, you go out there and you win the damn race. That is what you're paid the money for. You don't want us to follow the leader.
This isn't T-ball.
No. Speaking of T-ball, I got my first T-ball coaching on Monday.
Oh, yeah?
That's right. I'm coaching T-ball. Bunch of 5 and 6.
Circle the up here now.
I already got it going. We're gonna have it all year long. So, but yeah, a bunch of 5 and 6 year olds. So I think it's 8 or 9 kids on the team, which is everybody gets to bat, everybody gets to play the field, all the good stuff.
Oh.
But Patrick, I agree with you way too much. But Patrick, here's my question to you and everybody else that's listening. Why do you think they wait to the last lap? Because this is just... you want to be the guy who has the last shot at the win, I guess. I guess you don't want to put off anybody else. First place is usually a sitting duck, but not when you have your same emblem behind you. Don't get me wrong, the Daytona, where it was Hamlin and Truex, that were, they waited to the last lap. I mean, it was a good finish, but the rest of the race was follow the leader then. And as I said to you, that because you were at that race, I'm like, it may have been me because I was watching it on TV, but that race wasn't good. And you can't have a great finish make up for a subpar race.
I missed the plate tracks where one line was moving, guys were making moves, and the other line was moving, doing the same thing, but they were together the entire time.
Yep. You know what's the funny thing now? Is that I don't think anybody wants to try to go to the high side at Daytona and Talladega because they don't move anymore.
Here's something for you.
Okay.
They started calling it the junior line this weekend.
Yep.
I think it was Boyer who was calling it that. It seemed like everything was fine when it was Junior being the Pied Piper, leading everybody around, follow the leader style.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's not Junior doing it, now everyone's annoyed with it.
Exactly.
I mean, hell yeah, I loved it when I was a junior, like last year and years before when Junior would do it, because I was a Junior fan.
Oh, of course. It was fun watching him.
He was going to win the race. But now, it's like, I wish it was a little bit more entertaining. I understand this side of it now.
And Patrick just answered, why question mark? No idea. It's crazy. It is. It's crazy. You're out there to win the race. Sponsors may pay big money to be on your car. They want to see that car in victory lane.
No doubt about it, man.
I think they get scared making the moves on the last lap. I do too.
Well, let's continue on with our race recap.
Yep.
We had a big wreck in the middle of stage 2 between Bain, McMurray, Brandon Jones, Truex, Larson.
Brandon Jones.
Good race cars. Or Eric Jones. It's been it was a crazy weekend.
Yeah. They're driving the same Brandon and Eric.
Yeah, I mean, at least. So
at least you got the last name right.
So Trevor Bain really didn't do well in his first race since them announcing Kansas coming over for Kansas.
No, not at all.
McMurray.
I mean,
and
granted,
got into each other on that one.
Yep. Granted, Bane had nowhere to go. I don't. That's not on Trevor, but it didn't look good or didn't sound
was
good.
it not ironic hearing over Truex's radio? Hey, the 1 car and the 6 are about to wreck each other. And sure enough, that exact moment, there they go. They wrecked each other.
I listened to Radioactive because I missed it on Tuesday, but all of a sudden you hear Truex go, "God, I hate this bleeping track." And I'm like,
continuing on with this stage, there was a lot of torn up race cars, but how awesome was it to see the 21 win a stage without?
Yes, it was. I tell you what, Menards fit pretty good in that car. I mean, at first I'm like, but no, he's run good, and until he got taken out in the second big one, the biggest one, I should say, he was running good. He had a top 5 car, easily could have won the race.
Oh, well, maybe if they decided to be ballsy about it at the end.
I think with what was his last one? Brickyard?
The Brickyard, back 2015.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Oh boy.
So, like you said, we had the bigger one late in the race. It started with Johnson and Byron, which I thought Byron got up into Johnson, but that wasn't the case. It was all the air. And it was crazy that they both spun the same way without ever making contact with each other.
And here's another reason why I think this race was follow the leader. I'm glad we brought this up right now. Byron got up, yes. Johnson, they made no contact. There's a little bit of room. The air got, I think that's why these guys aren't racing. They know how bad these cars are.
Yeah, it's like they're on ice.
Yeah, it seems like something just popped up on the screen. So, but no, I like you said, I think they're afraid to get into it. They're afraid to go after it. So, because of what happened with Johnson and Byron.
Yeah, it's
like
that wreck alone though was crazy, just because it took out a lot of the front runners of the race, like Kozlowski, Boyer,
Menard.
I mean, among others. Menard,
Bubba.
like you said, was in it. Bubba was in it. Bubba rebounded, though, I think, didn't he? Again?
Yeah, he had a decent finish, but Byron was taken out. And
it's crazy to think that it only seems like it's the Hendrick cars that do this at plate tracks now. And it started in 2016.
Yep, when Junior out of turn 4.
Whee! Both same spot.
Yep.
I mean, the Hendrick cars have no luck coming in and out of corners at these tracks lately.
They do not. But I think that's going to change this weekend, so.
I think it is too.
I think you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking again. Or vice versa.
Let's just get down to your stage winners. Stage 1, Kurt Busch. Stage 2, Paul Menard. And your eventual race winner, Stage 3, Joey Logano. Your top 5, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Of your notable finishers, how about 6th place for David Reagan?
Yeah, I liked it. They had him on. They had it on his radio. I forgot who he was talking about, and he was like, "If you want the top 5 finish, follow me, or I'll get you up there." And I thought that was cool to hear him say that. But if I'm David Reagan and this underfunded team, don't you want to go out there and get that win? I know Reagan, and I had him as my dark horse too, by the way.
That was a good pick.
Thank you. I'm not going to say about my winner. Oops.
I'm looking back at mine. Hey, my race winner finished 3rd, and my sleeper was Almirola. Did he get involved in any wrecks?
I thought he was involved in the big one. I know there was a lot of cars involved in it, so.
Well, moving on with your notable finishers, 11th place was Chris Buescher. How about a run for Chris Buescher finishing 11th, top 50?
Good run.
They needed that.
Yes, they did.
15th was Ty Dillon.
Ty.
Solid run.
Hey, where did Austin Dillon finish?
I don't have him on here, but we'll talk about him here in a second. 20th place.
No way.
20th place was DJ Kennington.
Canadian, all right.
I don't know. Did he have the Humboldt logo on his car this weekend? I know he had it.
I don't think he had it on this.
Your standings, and this is where we're going to talk about a little bit of Austin Dillon here. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, not Brandon Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Ryan Newman. And how about 17th in the standings, Austin Dillon? Your Daytona 500 winner. Not looking good.
No, but he's already guaranteed a spot.
He's guaranteed a spot as long as he doesn't fall out to the top 35, which I don't see happening.
I don't see it happening either, but
I'm just saying.
17th in the standings and he won Daytona.
Would it be if we had a race winner? If we had 16 different race winners, 17, and Austin Dillon was the odd man out.
Well, with the way this season's going, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either.
No.
Too many three-peats.
Yep. All right, who's the next to get a three-peat?
Joey Logano, maybe? I mean, screw it, right?
It could. He runs good at Dover.
He once flipped here.
Yeah, at Dover. Yes, he did. I remember that.
He once flipped at this track.
Yes.
So, that pretty much... your next race. Whoa, Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern from Dover on FS1.
That FS1 this weekend? That's what I thought. I think this is the stretch where they go to FS1 because they got Kansas, which is... Actually, that might be on Fox, I think, Kansas, which is the night race. And then the All-Star race and obviously the Memorial Day weekend festivities extravaganza.
Greatest race day ever.
Yep. F1 starting early in the morning in Monaco.
Love that.
Then I do too. I mean, there's not much passing, but I play that in the F1 game. I suck at that game, man. I like turning left. I don't like this. Slow here, go here. Oh, what the? I can't cut the corners. What is this? Wait a minute here. Yeah.
You have the Indy race and then the Coke 600. I mean,
Yeah, Indy 500.
Great day of racing.
Good old IndyCar.
But let's get into some tire rub, Ryan. We got a couple news items to cover this week, and let's get into it.
Let's get it.
Left side. Pull this left rear fender out, left side.
All right, we already said that Ryan Siege is going to take over for Spencer Gallagher. The second news item I have, NASCAR bought ARCA this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that Friday, and I hope it does good things for ARCA. I love watching them guys on TV. Couple ARCA races in person, seeing Kyle run in the ARCA car when he was in Chevy. And I hope it does good. I really do.
I'm going to take it a different direction than you are.
Okay.
I hope NASCAR can... The way that ARCA is designed now, when they go to some of these short tracks, they have great drawing crowds. I hope NASCAR will look deep into this, see how they're doing it and how they are making it work, and implement it in with NASCAR. I mean, personally, I think we need more short tracks.
Well, of course we do.
I gotta get that T-shirt that I think it's Sherwin has it from PETM. It says more short tracks.
Uh-huh.
I need to get one.
I agree. More short tracks, man. I mean, I get it. Yeah, you got these mile and a halves, everything like
got
that.
A couple
I mean,
tracks in there too. In the ARCA series.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ARCA goes all over the place, man.
There's a lot NASCAR can learn from this.
I think there is too.
So, I mean, it's a good move. Good move on your end.
I agree. I'm all for it. But like you said about going to all these short tracks, maybe switch up the schedule every other year. I know a lot of these tracks get 2 races. Some of these tracks may only get 1 race if they go to more of these short tracks. Something like that. I think a lot of it has to do with attendance figures and these short tracks that they go to. I know ARCA goes to Toledo Speedway, which is not too far from where Sarah and I are at. We find out that when the date is, we may go down to Toledo for the ARCA race.
Here comes stage racing in the ARCA series.
Oh, boy. Dun, 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 dun. Patrick, ARCA, I think, will do well under NASCAR watch, but no one knows for sure.
I'm excited for it. I think it's a good move.
I am too.
Good point, Patrick. I'd like your opinion on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Roush Fenway says the decision has not yet been made on Bane in 19. I don't think he comes back next year.
You know what I say? What's that line that Vince McMahon always says, or the president?
Welcome to the Kiss My Ass.
How does the president? No. How does the president do it when he was on that show, The Apprentice?
I mean, what's the difference?
He always-
You're fired.
he always
Kiss
put
My
it-
Ass Club. It's the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Go kiss pavement, asphalt.
Yeah, I don't see Bane back next year.
I don't either, so I'm not surprised by it.
We had a new Earnhardt born this week.
Yes, we did.
So, Amy Earnhardt, Dale Jr., they had their little girl born this week. Good news. And kind of ending this on a somber note, just so people know we didn't forget about this, we just wanted to put it towards the end of it. James Hilton and his son passed away this last Saturday morning. Car accident. It's pretty sad.
Very sad.
So thoughts and prayers are out to their family.
Yes, they are.
So Ryan, what do you think we get into some social media update?
All right, social media time.
All right, we are up to 461 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher, 170 followers on Twitter, 58 likes on Facebook, 16 subscribers on YouTube. A couple new follower shout-outs this week. We have Ralph at Ralph_Hibbard. We have Brenda at Mama41 and Ken at KGlark53. Podcast shout-outs. We got the Lap Traffic Podcast, the PTM Racing Podcast, which they're going live right after us at 9 o'clock over on their channel. Make sure you go check them out. And if you haven't already, give them a follow, subscribe, set your notifications, and all that good stuff, along with everyone else we're about to list here. We have the My Opinion, Therefore Fact podcast. We have the All Turns No Breaks podcast. We have the Bump and Run podcast. Right Sides Only Radio, the Motor Mouse and Creditcast, and the NASCAR Opinion podcast. Some places you can find us: Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching in the Loose Lugs podcast. Make sure you give us a subscription and a follow. Set your notifications so you know whenever we go live and post a new episode. On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. Don't forget, at 200 followers, we are giving away the Daytona program package. On Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. And I think I'm going to do a Facebook giveaway here after we're done with the Twitter one, just so we can get our Facebook page uploaded.
All right, yeah, definitely.
You can follow us on our personal accounts, myself, Twitter, Grey Goose F150, and Ryan, what is yours?
Our Rancola 88.
And now we get into the Ryan/AJ rant segment. Before I go, Ryan, do you have anything you want to say?
It's not really a rant. Back with this ARCA thing, I think with NASCAR getting it, maybe they'll show more ARCA races on TV. Maybe these short FS1, maybe even FS2 can pick up some of these short tracks. Get these people seeing these short tracks that you never see, like at Toledo. There's a couple at Nashville Speedway, all these other speedways. Hopefully that's a reason why they did this as well.
Yeah, I think getting it off of MAV TV, not everybody has it. And you move it on to like an FS1 or a Fox Sport or a Fox Sports.
Maybe your local, like a Fox Sports Detroit here. I don't know what it is down in Florida. Is it Fox?
Florida and Sun Sport?
Yeah, there you go. Something like that along those lines.
And make it live.
Yeah, make it live.
Races live. I don't want to see them, days after it's already happened.
Like NBCSN does the K&N races. Those are fun to watch. I enjoy those.
So, here we go.
Go for it, AJ. All right, hold on. Before AJ goes, I'm going to let the floor go to AJ. I know he's got a lot to say about it. I'm going to have a lot to say about it. I know you, the listeners, are going to have something to say about it as well. But AJ, what has rubbed your skin so hard, minus the fact that the Lightning are beating the Bruins 2-1 in their series?
Oh, screw you, Brian.
Why?
So,
you know, how long have you known me?
Well, I know.
Exactly.
Just when I thought we were done with Danica Patrick, she has another case of foot and mouth syndrome. and decides that she's going to go out in an interview. I believe it was with Dan Patrick. I just read the little blip on Twitter this week, or today, and saw everybody blowing up about it, so I had to throw my 2 cents in on it. Saying that NASCAR is easier than IndyCar. And I threw up a little tweet of Danica Patrick average finishes, NASCAR 24th, IndyCar 10th, or something along the lines of that. Yeah, NASCAR must be the easier one, right? Must be easy running around in 25th all race long, multiple laps down, not being competitive. So I decided to do a little research of my own. Here is Danica Patrick's stats and comparison between NASCAR and IndyCar, along with a few other drivers. So in NASCAR, she had no wins, no top 5s, 7 top 10s, an average finish of 24.1 in a span of 7 years. In IndyCar, she had 1 win, 7 podiums, which is a top 3 finish, in case you didn't know, an average finish at 10.6 in a span of 7 years. What do you think the easier one is there, Danica? I decided to compare this with Tony Stewart, and just bear with me on this one.
I gotcha.
In NASCAR, Tony Stewart had 49 wins, 187 top 5s, 308 top 10s, an average finish of 14.1, so 14th, in a span of 18 years. Before he got into NASCAR, he was in IndyCar, and here's his stats in IndyCar. 3 wins, 7 podiums, an average finish at 10th, in a span of 5 years. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Tony Stewart's a Cup champion and all that. Great. Let's dig it a little deeper now. Let's go with Juan Pablo Montoya.
Juan Pablo!
In NASCAR, he had 2 wins, 24 top 5s. Those 2 wins both at Watkins Glen and Sonoma. 24 top 5s, 59 top 10s, an average finish of 19.8 in a span of 9 years. So we're going to compare this now to his IndyCar/kart stats because they didn't merge until, I think, 2000.
Yeah, it was 2000. I missed the kart cars, by the way. Those were cool. Go ahead.
I'm not counting his F1 career because we're comparing IndyCar to NASCAR here.
All right.
15 wins, 26 podiums, an average finish in both series at 9 and 10.4. I'll just say that's 10, an average finish at 10th, and a span of 7 years. Which one do you think's easier there, Danica? I'd go even further with one more driver, Sam Hornish Jr.
Oh.
In NASCAR, and this is all Cup Series, I didn't do any Xfinity Series here. No wins, 3 top 5s, 12 top 10s, an average finish of 25.3 in a span of 10 years. Now, mind you, in Xfinity Series under Penske cars, he had 5 wins in an Xfinity of an average finish of 13.7. In IndyCar, 19 wins, 47 podiums, an average finish of 7.8 in 8 years. So tell me, which one is the easier one? Now,
Danica.
I don't want people to think I don't think IndyCar's hard because I've got to say, those dudes, balls of brass, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would much rather be in a NASCAR stock car than an IndyCar. Safety-wise, speed-wise, I feel much more safer. But the fact that you're going to go around here and say that NASCAR's easier, it must be really hard to pace the field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have anything else to say on that, but that's the research I did on it with the closest thing that we can compare it to.
You know what the part that's it's making me laugh, actually. It really is. Look at what Eric Almirola is doing in the same car that she was in last year. Granted, the seat's probably a little bit different, stuff along those lines. But look at what he's doing in that car to compare to what she is. I think when she came to NASCAR, she was in way over her head. She stayed at least 3 years in the Xfinity Series, run more races, and then came up to Cup. She jumped ship way too easy. NASCAR, I think there's a couple others that thought she was going to come in, and the attendances were going to skyrocket. They didn't. And as Patrick said, racing is hard no matter what series you're in.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
When I read that this morning, that rubbed me the wrong way.
She said Tony posted a video in our crew about how here in IndyCar you have to have the belts tighter. In NASCAR you didn't have to have them as tight. Something about the helmet, this, that, the other thing. It's like, shut up. Go out there, run the best race you can to your abilities. Probably 20th.
Be relaxed in 30th, 6 laps down.
Of course. Just because you're dating Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you have to act like him.
Don't get me wrong, no discredit here. I think Danica's a great IndyCar driver.
I do too.
You know, for what the pressure that she had to overcome and all that, all the criticism, she's great for IndyCar.
Yeah.
Wasn't so great as a NASCAR driver. Goes back to IndyCar this week for her final race. And I hope she does well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really hope she does well. I hope Ross
Indy 500. I do too. Or Hinch. I
don't think it's this weekend, actually. I think the Indy 500's in a couple weeks.
Memorial Day weekend. We just talked about it.
This week.
They're practicing, and then they have the Grand Prix of Indianapolis where they do the road course there.
But you're someone who spent, what did I say, 9 years? 9 years?
Yeah,
on the NASCAR circuit? 7 years. 7 years on the NASCAR circuit.
Yeah.
And you also spent 7 years in IndyCar, and you're going to turn around and say that NASCAR is easier. GTFO.
Maybe she has beef with how she was, why she was forced into quote-unquote retiring. I personally think they're going to give her a ride next year in IndyCar. I think she's going to go back to IndyCar full-time.
By the way, I did defend her when Kyle Petty said what he said about her.
What did Kyle Petty say about her?
That was a while ago with she's just a publicity stunt.
Oh, yeah.
And this was, I think, only in her third season where I was like, give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time.
We gave it time.
Yeah.
Give it 7 years.
You know what? Here's the boot, hit the door.
Now, here's one thing that does drive me crazy. This is a partial rant. I watch the IndyCar races. They're coming up the weekend, actually, after the Indy 500. They do double races down in Belle Isle, Detroit. It's an island in Detroit, which is pretty cool, on the Detroit River. They do all these races. Friday's free day out there, and Sarah and I are going to go out there. But when I'm watching a broadcast, and all of a sudden I hear the announcer go, "Oh, this guy has this amount push to pass." Why not let the cars drive them? Basically, what the push to pass is, they push a button and it gives them an extra boost, so to speak. I don't see that in any of these NASCARs, trucks, K&N, Xfinity, Cup cars. Nothing. It's the drivers making the moves. In these Indy cars, you push the button to go faster. Oh, come on. I mean, like I said, I like it. It's a form of racing, but why? Why not let the cars are already going fast enough as it is. You want to give them more speed by hitting this little button?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that, I would find IndyCar to be easier in.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, with the stats I just told you, I mean,
yeah,
it's there. It shows. It's a lot different in a 40-car field.
Don't get me wrong. I give all these people, Danica, Dario Franchitti is a guy you didn't mention.
I was going to mention him, but I decided not to. His NASCAR
stats,
his Cup Series stats weren't nothing to mention.
No, they weren't special. But he dominated IndyCar. He went back to IndyCar the year after he left Cup and won the championship in IndyCar.
Now do that here. Now take it, and I've always been a big believer of this. If you take a NASCAR driver and you put him in IndyCar, he can succeed.
Of course. Look at Kurt Busch.
Exactly. Take an IndyCar driver and put him in a NASCAR Cup stock car, they're not going to succeed. Maybe at a road course. Not. There's exceptions.
Maybe
AJ Foyt won a Daytona 500.
There's a couple of guys I could see right now possibly not winning, but possibly doing well in a Cup car if they get him in the right equipment. Maybe Hinch. Rossi would be a decent.
I
love Hinch.
Doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
I think was it Alonso said he wanted to race in it too?
Yeah, Fernando Alonso. Yep.
Like that'd be cool. But I don't think they would succeed.
No.
I think it's kind of like the same thing you have now. What you've had with, Franchitti and Hornish and Danica. I think it's the same result.
Well, here's a question for you.
Well, just let me just.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're good.
You see who we put in. I say we as in NASCAR. You see what we put in IndyCar, and we've competed there. I mean, we've top 5. I think Kurt Busch was fine up until he got taken out, or something happened to his car. I forget what happened.
I thought he finished top 10, top 12, I thought,
but
the year he ran it. Yeah, he led. I mean, granted, yeah, the thing is with the IndyCar, have you seen that steering wheel? I think there's more money into the steering wheel than there is into the car. They're crazy.
Earlier, I wanted to look this up just to see what the difference would have been. I looked up Danica Patrick's laps led on her career and Alex Bowman's. Danica Patrick in 7 years had 64 laps led. Alex Bowman in 5 years, 290 laps led.
Alex Bowman, really?
Yeah. Well, he led 194. Maybe it was a little bit less than that. I mean, it might have been like 264 or something like that. I'm trying to remember now. Yeah, because he's led some laps this season, and then he led 190 at Phoenix.
He should have won.
Is what he led at Phoenix. He should have won.
He should have won.
But I mean, that's going to show. Bowman for half of his career was in bad equipment.
Yes, he was.
So
now he's in good equipment. He's going to win.
And I wonder, does it come down to communication?
It could.
Danica wasn't relaying information well enough.
Maybe because she didn't know a lot about the car. I mean, you remember the movie Days of Thunder? The Tom Cruise character, Cole Trickle, didn't know anything about the car. And then Harry Hogg taught him all about the car, and look what happened. They started winning races. Granted, it's a movie. He didn't know that she was tight, loose. She didn't lose the rear, but he didn't know that.
I'm going to give this a second because you were, sounded like you were lagging there a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
All right, you're back now. So, I agree with you, Ryan. This is one of the, like I said, foot and mouth syndrome.
That it is. And, you can't, expect, like, if somebody, like Franchitti, for example, what car, you remember who he drove for? Was it Petty?
Frankie.
Or, yeah, he was out there. But he went back like he won championship.
You're cutting out.
It was offline on my phone.
Now we should be back on.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out.
I think we're back. I'm not positive, but I think we're back.
There we are. Hey.
Are we still here? That was wow. That was bad.
Yeah, it was. Oh, the fun of a live show, everybody.
Right.
So, all right, let's since we don't know what's going on now, let's get into our picks. If you want to do that, the white flag.
All right, yeah. So let's get into the white flag, Ryan.
Tight, keep looking the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only 2.
All right, so this week we are in Dover. Every series is in Dover. And the truck series, finally back. Ryan, who you taking?
Stuart Friesen.
Well, nice pick. I picked him a couple weeks ago.
Yep, I was watching Todd Bodine on Race Up, and he gave me some good pointers, so. What's that?
Wow.
Bodine helps me out.
All right, I'm taking the 21. Taking
Johnny Sauter. Yeah,
you won it last year. I'm
all
going to
right.
take him again this year. All right, we go to the Xfinity Series. I'm going to take the 00. I'm going to take Cole Custer.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm going to take the 16 of Ryan Reed. I just bought the shirt, so go get him, Ryan.
In the Cup Series, Ryan, who are you taking for the win?
Good old 7-time. Give me the 48. He breaks out of it. He breaks out of it this weekend. The track he's dominated, he's going to win. The fiance's shaking her head no, even though she's a big Jimmy fan, but he will win this weekend. I guarantee it.
All right, well, I'm glad you did that because I'm going with 42 with Kyle Larson to win this weekend.
All right. And I'll go my dark horse. Give me the 12 car as my dark horse.
I'm taking the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as my dark horse.
What the hell?
I could do that. That's legal.
No. Whoa.
I can take him as a dark horse.
Whoa. All right.
Perform this year? He is a dark horse at this point.
All right, it could be. Good thing they're not at Daytona or Talladega.
Right?
Oh, man.
I think we're going to have a fun weekend this weekend in good old Dover, Delaware.
Bristol on steroids. Every time there's a crash, it comes right back down to you, so watch out.
So, Ryan.
Yeah.
We've hit that end, the point of the show. Pretty interesting one this week.
Yeah, especially with the lagging there. Hey, nothing can go wrong if it's live.
What is an episode of the Loose Lugs podcast without some technical difficulties?
It wouldn't be an episode then. It would be perfection.
All right, Ryan, we've hit that point. Why don't you go ahead and hit everybody with it?
Hey guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Let's enjoy some Bristol on steroids, Dover, Delaware. We will see you guys at the track. Have a great weekend, everybody.
So special thanks real quick, Patrick, Tony, everyone who participated in our chat tonight, everybody for tuning in and listening. Go head on over to the PTM Racing Podcast channel and make sure you check them all out. Everyone have a fun and safe race weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.
Memories are all inside you, and you never make them back. I can feel that cheering through the world that nothing says. I can feel what I need now that you're here. Just know there's nothing to fear along the way. There's nothing I could say, nothing I